We are diving deep today for the tropical raids. We got a giant squid of the deep sea, not quite level 30, but we'll get there. But the real reason why we're here today is to optimize your team, give you the best strategy out there in order to deal the maximum amount of damage, irregardless of the team that you're running. And on top of that, we'll give you the team to do it here, at least the one that works for me, and how to maneuver and get to the best of your version of you. Now, thank you for tuning in. As always, we have a lot going on, so down below in the timestamps, you can absolutely check those pieces out for each of the tips and tricks, the teams, the runs, all that fun stuff. Now, with that, if you got a question, comment throughout, let me know. I love to hear from you, and feel free to swing by the Discord server and join the amazing community there as well, where we always discuss stuff like this. All right, so here's what we got going on with the tropical raids. This is an ongoing event right now, 10 days left. You got raid missions here, so you absolutely want to participate with your friends, and we're going to use this level 28 squid to walk through the key strategy, and this strategy is applied to all of the squids of the deep sea, minus some of the epics and the mythics, because you do want to tweak your teams for that. You can check out our coin guide here on the channel around the poison one, but this is key to this particular team and run here today. So the first thing on the giant squid of the deep, couple things that you need to know. As always, here are special conditions. Our minimum cookie is level 70, skill is level 70, and grade is 5-star. That's super helpful for a lot of free-to-play players like myself, boosting a ton of things to make your team better. Now here we also have HP shield capacity decreased and healing decreased by 60%. So that does need to be a viable piece of your strategy, and we'll talk about which way to think about it though in order to be successful here today. Now, a couple of the key pieces with this is, again, this team will work for you pre-level 28s as well, but before you get to the big squid, there's just the tentacle pieces really up till about level 10, I believe. So some of these things you don't have to worry as much about, but a couple key pieces here and these things that you do. Monster resilience passive. Once the giant squid becomes enraged, it will unleash abysmal rage upon the targets and then increase the damage it deals to them. Abysmal rage deals damage to all targets and puts the target with the highest attack, target's cookies first, into water cage. This thing is a huge problem. Water cage is a huge problem. We'll talk about that in a second. Now, it's got pound, deals damage to a target. Grab and throw, grabs the target and throws them, inflicting stun and injury. Strike down, deals damage to all targets and stuns them. Sweep out, deals damage to the 2 targets in the front, reduces their defense, and inflicts vampiric bite. Ink Cannon deals damage to the 2 cookies with the highest attack and reduces their attack. Then you got Abysmal Roar here, deals damage to all targets, reduces healing they receive, and applies fear to the closest target. Now, the general strategy here is vulnerable to shackles, so don't forget that. So a couple of the key pieces here. The water cage and shackles are a big piece. So let's go ahead and take a look at the team that we're actually going to talk about and use here today, which is this one, and talk about this strategy here that's a little bit different than some of the other strategies. So the first and foremost thing is, when we do talk about the shackles, Tart Titan's regular cannonade here, when Tart Titan Cookie fires her cannon, she reduces her own cooldown and shackles her target after a certain number of hits. Upon using her skill, she will fire a cannonball straight towards the center of the enemy. Hit, burn, suffer, all this other stuff. What you need to know is this cookie is the shackle cookie, which is a huge thing. Now, generally the guidance, we'll talk about this on the treasure one here in a second, is you actually want to run Librarian's Enchanted Robes, increasing the attack speed, getting more attacks out, sort of keep it like that. Now, again, timing of the essence is of the essence here because of the water cage. So a couple things to understand with the water cage. It can be removed, but you need it to be removed with PV. You can also use Snapdragon and also Parfait here, but you have to make sure that Parfait does have the candy, because you want to make sure that extra healing is converted into, that's right, a shield. You need the shield to essentially debuff the water cage and take your attacker cookies out of there. That is exactly it. Now, when it comes to my team here, a couple of things that you'll notice differently. I have 3 attackers. I'm running Parfait and PV. And on top of that, we're focused on single target damage here and here. We do not have blockers or defensive type cookies. And on top of that, I'm heavily focused more on attack here with my treasures. So this team actually works off of Dream Conductor's Whistle, Old Pilgrim Scroll, and Squishy Jelly Watch. Again, the big reason being the timing. I can actually auto time with this entire team where I can just click, not have to worry about paying attention to those dropping those heals. More easy mode for you. And with a couple of different tweakings, you can do it too. Now, when we look at the toppings though, we're on attack, we're on cooldown, again, cooldown, and more attack. So we're not focused on Solid Almond at all. In fact, you don't really need to worry about damage reduction for this particular team as well. You just really want to push it hard and really put on the attack and the damage. That is going to be key for you. And obviously, anyone that's got more, whether or not they're free to play or not, anyone that's got higher pieces for their cookies, buffs, all that fun stuff could be higher than this. Obviously promoted cookies, all those fun things. I'm taking advantage of all this here for what I was missing. So that is really the strategy and the way this team works. We talked about the team, we talked about the tactic, the toppings, and also the treasures. And I like to say tactics still, I guess, because the other one, in terms of how we're going to do this. So right before we go attack the squid here, again, I'm going to walk through the strategy. This strategy is about an effective auto mode strategy where you're dealing enough damage, and we'll talk about this here in a second, to trigger water cage. The moment water cage is triggered, you have pure vanilla, or you're able to get that heal off with Parfait to drop the shield and drop that. The idea is to last the full 1 minute and 30 seconds to deal the maximum amount of damage with your team. Lots of little tweakings in order to get there. This is the one that works for me. We'll show it to you right now so you can understand. Certainly you can use other cookies and other cookies that actually deal more damage, but part of it is that auto mode timing and auto damage and auto maximizing your damage as well. So this is what does it for me. Again, between all these little tweaks, we're not focused on the shackle stun, but what really matters here is the rage meter. The rage meter will increase at given intervals. And as you can see, as my team hits here and the single target damage does more single target damage, you can see how quickly it refills. So once this thing hits, we got about 8 seconds here. We need it to go off before PV goes. There it goes. There's the heal, and there it's done. Boom. Just like that. That takes you from 1.5 minutes to a minute. Unfortunately, Rye Cookie did get smoked there, but you can get through all the way in this situation for your team. Just a little bit off and bad timing and luck in terms of some of those heals. But that is exactly the strategy of how this works for this particular team. I can push pretty solidly around 30 million. With this group here as well. And then obviously as we begin to lose them, it does become a little bit different. And the higher level the squid, the higher problems that also ensue there. And losing the shackle does slow down, obviously. That's done. So here we go, about 20. Let's go ahead and run it one more time. But before we do so, as a good citizen, we're going to ask for help. We're going to ask all the selected and ask all players, because everyone wants to get some amazing rewards, because this is an awesome friends event, an awesome team event. So we'll go for it one more time, see if we can make it all the way through. But again, that is a lot of the key strategy, a lot of the key pieces to pay attention for and through for the giant squid here. And one of the things that you can obviously do, you can obviously flip off that auto or click as you're going here as well, in order to be successful and in order to overcome this particular thing and maximize your damage. We're just going to be right on time here. depending on how this goes. 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, big hit. There's the shackle heal, we'll hit right there, and we lost Rye again. Unfortunately, it is what it is, and it does happen. It was so close, but that's what we're doing for today. All right. So again, that makes a big difference going from the 30 seconds when you get blown out with the water cage, and then again being able to try and keep your whole team there and the whole team doing damage for the rest of the run as well. We need to get a heal. There we are. 15 seconds left. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. All right. So that time we were able to keep ours and make it work and deal again a little bit over 21. Keeping Rye is going to make a big difference there. So you can see obviously the damage, pretty good damage there. Rye, not so much. But again, you could switch these out, tweak these things a little bit more. Rye surviving is going to add again another 7-ish million and get you closer to that 30 in terms of how that's going to work. All right. There are a lot of teams out there, like we talked about in terms of getting by. This has been the most solid, effective team for me. Optimized, again, like I said, minus the 2 that we showed when Rye got cooked, but it happens. And I do believe that this is a great, solid strategy for you to continue to progress in the tropical raids here. Also, so that you can auto-click and let it run and use your tickets up. Instead of having to sit there and constantly peck to ensure that water cage and that timing can be off once in a while. Wanted to share this video with you here today, a solid strategy to overcome the tropical raids, optimize, maximize, and deal a lot of damage with your team as always. With that, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate your support. Thank you for the likes and the subs as we continue to grow this amazing community here. With that, if you got a question, comment, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Share your teams. We love to do these guides. We love to see what you're using as well in order to succeed and succeed together. Until next time, we'll see you soon. We have a ton of great CookieRun Kingdom content available to you here on the channel. More coming all the time. Good luck with the squid here. We'll see you in some of the epic mythical battles. Check out all the stuff that we have here, like the coin Giant Squid as well, because that was a lot of fun. All right, we'll see you soon. Mythras out. Good luck with the tropical raids.